What's up everyone, it's Dave Wallace from the Medal of Honor channel, and I'm doing another vinyl challenge for you. But this time, it's not somebody else's vinyl challenge. This time, it's one that I made up. And you know, the cool thing about these is it's a good way to not only show all different albums in your collection, but it's just a good way to really get to know other people who are in this vinyl community, people who are making videos also. I've done Liam's Death Doom Metalhead Challenge where he did 10 questions. I did the Accusation Network with Matt Paradise where we did his 13 questions that he did. I even did 31 different albums that I showed for the Halloween Horror Vinyl Challenge. So, you know, these are fun to do and something extra content that I get to put out for you guys. And then I'm of course putting this out so that way you guys can join in this and give this a try. So I tried to come up with some that are, you know, a little bit different than you know, the same thing that everybody else is doing. I want to make sure that we kind of make it interesting. So I'm doing 12 questions I came up with. So we're gonna call it the Devil's Dozen because it sounds metal as fuck. By the way, if you're not into metal but you're into vinyl, then you can still do this same challenge, whether you're a YouTube creator or if you want to do it on Instagram and just do it, you know, as a 12 days in a row kind of thing. Also, if you are into metal but you don't have vinyl, you can do this. You can still do it with CDs, you know, something, you know, preferably let's see something. Show us some content, physical content that you have. Show us that you support music, I guess, basically, right? So anyway, here we go. This is my 12 questions, the Devil's Dozen. Number one is a band whose album has amazing artwork, but musically you just find that it kind of falls short, at least for you. Obviously that's going to be different for everybody. Some people are going to love an album, some aren't. I chose Baroness. This album is called Golden Grey, and you know, musically, like when I saw this and looked through everything, I'm going to show you in just a minute here, but I just thought, man, the artwork in this is just incredible. It's not bad music, it's just maybe not what I thought. I thought they'd be a little heavier. It's a little mellow for my taste. But you know, it doesn't mean that a lot of people won't like it, so you might really love this album. Like I said, just not really what I thought it was. Not something I'm really gonna listen to much. But the cover art, of course, is beautiful as it is. Looks like the sort of three fates going on there. And then has these really cool, you see these little these butterfly skulls here. All kinds of unusual, very nature-oriented designs, and this is just the start. And I'm a tattoo artist, and I don't know if you know this or not, but about 65% of the tattoo client base these days is female, which means I know my way around a female body. You know what I'm saying? Okay, maybe not, but anyway. So, you know, of course I do a lot of flowers and butterflies and stuff, which can be totally cool if it's done the right way, and they use a lot of that in this album. They had two different colored vinyls. Of course, the album is called Golden Grey, so they picked the orange and green vinyl. I don't know why. But anyway, and then it comes with this booklet. It's the lyric sheet, and I mean, the artwork in this is just incredible. And right after I bought this album, before I listened to it, and that's why I don't do that anymore. Now I listen to everything before I buy it. But right after I bought it, I posted pictures on Instagram of how, oh my God, this is so cool. And then I got home and again, like I said, it was really good, just not great. So anyway, so that's my choice for number one. Question number two is, if you had to start collecting all over again and lose all of your albums save for one to be your starting point to start all over again, which album would you choose? I came up with the question, but actually had a hard time really coming up with a good answer. I figured, you know, it's probably, you know me, I'm a diehard Rush fan, so it's gonna be something Rush. And I didn't really have necessarily one album. I was like, well, something about this one is so special I'd never be able to find it again. So I guess decided to pick something that I thought would inspire me to go, yeah, you know, I really do love albums, and I'll start collecting all over again. So if I had to start all over with just one album, I'd start with Rush, Power Windows. It's just kind of, like I said, it's the middle of their career, and I don't know, it's an album I really love and might just inspire me to keep going. So there you go. Number 3 is an album whose vinyl is particularly beautiful to you. Nowadays, of course, there's so much different colored vinyl and swirled, or maybe you just really love black vinyl. Maybe one album, the vinyl with the sticker all together is particularly attractive to you. Just interested in that, and so I chose Temple of Void, and I'm going to show you the vinyl here. When we get to the end of the year, I'm going to actually put this probably somewhere in my top 5 favorite albums of this year. I just fucking love this album. Really good stuff. And the vinyl on this, I've showed it before on the Halloween challenge one, but yeah, it has this kind of seafoam green and white with gold splatter in it. And I don't know, I just think that this is a really pretty looking album. So there you go. Number 4 is a favorite workout album, or just an album that makes you want to punch people in your face. So something energetic that makes you feel pumped up, makes you want to go run, makes you want to lift weights, makes you want to hit somebody. I chose Zyklon Disintegrate. I don't know, this is just something about this album that just keeps me moving and just keeps me want to work fast. So yeah, Zyklon. Number 5 is favorite album after a major lineup change. I was going to do a 6 records on this. I've had trouble finding some of the records that I was going to use, actually. And I could easily, of course, go with Rush because of Neil Peart joining the band. But for me, of course, that's probably a little bit too obvious. So I'm going to upset some people in the Van Halen camp. Even though I love classic Van Halen with David Lee Roth the most, I also really love 5150. This album is, you can see, it's beat to shit. But also a really good workout album, I find. But I don't know, something about it I really love, especially the song 5150, just really good. Very different from anything they did before, maybe not as much of the party aspect. And Sammy Hagar, of course, when this came out and Eat 'Em and Smile came out, yeah, I did follow David Lee Roth for one album, and then Skyscraper, and then everything else is, it's kind of lost track of him. But Van Halen still kept putting out good stuff as far as I'm concerned. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but there you go, 5150. Number 6 is favorite album in your collection that is not of the metal genre. Now, if you're doing one of these challenges, if you're doing this challenge and you're not into metal, then maybe you could pick one album that is in metal. But for me, almost all the stuff that I have is either hard rock or metal, and I'm looking for outside of that genre. Not even the sub genres or anything like that. Something totally outside of it. And one of my all-time favorite albums actually is Beastie Boys, Check Your Head. I fucking love this album. One of my favorite CDs, one of the first CDs I ever got. I don't know, it's just very different. They played their instruments on all of this stuff here, and a lot of experimentation going on. They didn't just rap. I mean, their old stuff, of course, their first album, License to Ill, of course, had, Kerry King show up on it. So, I mean, they've always been a band that a lot of metalheads could get into, and, even though this is rap, just really good stuff in here. Love this fucking album. Number 7 is an album in your collection that gives you an instant recall to an obscure moment in your past, in your youth. And when I say obscure, what I mean is not just, oh yeah, this is the song that we danced to at prom, or this is a song I lost my virginity to, but just a really unusual moment that maybe just always pops in your head that's almost meaningless, except that somehow you associate it with that album. So I chose Van Halen's Fair Warning, and the obscure moment that it attaches to for me is mowing the lawn on a riding lawnmower when I was a kid in high school. I think it's because I had I put this on, burned it onto a cassette tape, and then had it on headphones, and I'm driving around and I'm singing to it out loud, not realizing how loud I was being. So I'm getting into Sinner's Swing, and I shout out the vocals, "She looks so fucking good," and I think my neighbors called my dad and said I was on the lawnmower cussing or something. Got in a little trouble for that, but anyway. Weird moment, but that's what it's attached to. Number 8 is an artist who left a great band, but then went on to have a great solo career. And of course, that is always going to be, up to your discretion. Some people are going to disagree with different things. I went with Ihsahn, or I guess I just found out it's actually pronounced Ihsahn, spelled weirdly, but okay. And of course, he left Emperor, which, I love Emperor, but I also love his solo stuff. This is Das Seelenbrechen. He's got quite a few solo projects. Has a lot of EPs and several amazing full-length albums. Very crisp, clean production. Very progressive. I think there's even songs with like some saxophone in here. He does a lot of weird, trippy stuff, but just a genius of a musician, and I really respect everything that he puts out. So, Ihsahn. Number 9 is an album that was controversial as a kid and that you still love today, maybe even because of that. For me, I've mentioned this before, but one of the bands that I used to get in trouble for listening to all the time was Motley Crue, and there you see the emboss of the pentagram on there. Of course, it's got the back cover has the embossed pentagram on it, and look how badass they look there. Oh, so cool. I love this album still today. Even the songs that maybe people don't realize, like a lot of people of course know that Shout at the Devil, Looks That Kill. I really liked like Bastard. 10 Seconds to Love is one of my favorite songs on here. Knock 'Em Dead Kid, that was a cool song. And I really like that they played up to, Tipper Gore put this on the list of, dangerous albums. And I really love that they played up to that. They even put on the back here, it says, "Caution, this record may contain backward messages." Holy shit, it's the devil. So yeah, I love this album still today, and probably because I wasn't allowed to listen to it, so I did. For number 10, I put a band whose sophomore effort you find to be better than their first album. So, again, that's going to be, up to you to decide. We're not always going to agree on that kind of stuff. I chose what is apparently Decibel Magazine said is the #1 thrash metal of all time, Metallica's Ride the Lightning. I just found, to me, this is leaps and bounds past Kill 'Em All. Kill 'Em All is a great album, but it's just so much youth in it. It kind of sounds more like kids, and that's okay. But this, to me, was just darker, more serious. I just find this to be a much better album, personally. So, love this album. Never get tired of this. Number 11 is one of your favorite live albums that has amazing packaging to it. So, of course, could have gone classics like, Maiden or Wasp or something like that. But I chose a more recent one, actually. It's Anthrax, King's Own Scotland. This is, of course, one of their latest things that they put out. And it's awesome. I mean, the sound quality of this is great. Even with age, Joey Belladonna still sounds great. Although it's interesting, he actually has much more vibrato. Probably just practicing and keeping his voice strong as he got older. But the packaging on this is seriously kick-ass. I mean, first of all, you got the double gatefold, because it's 3 LPs, and the photography from the live shows there is excellent. The LPs that came with it, they are colored vinyl, and there's the red there, blue here, and let's see, I think is this purple one? Yeah, the purple one here has the etching of the Knot Man. Let me see, can I get him there? Yep, there's the Knot Man. All right, and then on top of that, let's see if I can put this away first. On top of all that, it came with this booklet that is basically, I mean, it's got like, there's a list of tour dates in there. It looks like basically it's the tour program. Lots of cool photos. And then it even has each person and what instruments they play, what they're sponsored by. So that's usually something you see more in like a tour program kind of thing. So yeah, very cool stuff. Yeah, great photos there. It's got their whole discography back here. So yeah, anyway, and you know, of course, I love the artwork in here. You know, it's from their For All Kings album. So yeah, just kick-ass, really great sounding live album, and just wonderful packaging there. So there you go. Finally, for number 12, I put, even as a seasoned metalhead, an album art that kind of disturbs you. You know, I've got all kinds of gruesome death metal album covers, and most of them really have no effect on me. And in fact, the very front cover of this Jungle Rot album doesn't really bother me. I mean, yeah, it's gore and people chopping up each other and stuff. This is what horrors await. But inside, one thing that this still creeps me out, and maybe it's because I'm a dad and I have 3 daughters, but there's this picture of this, you know, horrible stuff happening to people when this little girl here is like puking up blood or something. So that one, that gives me the heebie-jeebies. You know, I think it just kind of makes, you know, you can't help but instantly think about your own children when you see stuff like that. So it bothers me a little bit, but kick-ass album though, by the way. So there you go. That is 12 questions for you to check out and answer if you will. If you take the time to make a video, I'd ask if you please put a link in the comments to it. Also, you know, on Instagram, if you want to do this as sort of a daily challenge, go ahead and post these on there. That'd be cool to see. You know, just pick 12 days in a row and start posting them there. We're gonna call this Dave's Devil's Dozen. So how about we hashtag that? Hashtag Dave's Devil's Dozen. Sound good? That way it'll be harder, a little easier to more streamline for this. So anyway, there you go. That's my 12 questions for you. Hope you'll get in on that, and I look forward to seeing your answers. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with your friends. Pass this around, and let's get more people interested in the vinyl metal community. So until next time, keep your horns up, keep the needle down.